Yes. So in the previous class, we have discussed about mean and median. So in today's class, let us discuss about mode. Now, even though we have median, why did we choose mode? As we all know, arithmetic mean is highly affected with extreme value, and arithmetic mean cannot be calculated in case of open interclass interval. That is why we choose something called median. Similarly, even though we have median, why did we choose mode? Why? Because mode is neither affected with the extreme value. So it is zero affected from the extreme value. That is why we choose mode in case of there is any extreme values. Therefore, in case of open-end class interval, the preferability of central tendency is median. In case of extreme values are there in the given set of observations, that means the most preferable is mode in that case. Extreme value, you all know, out of boundary figure or those numbers which are not in the given range. In that circumstances, yes, that number is considered as extreme value. So mode is completely not affected from the extreme value. That is why we use mode in case of extreme observations are there. Now, what do you mean by mode? Mode is nothing but here the number which is repeated for n number of times, highest number of times. So that number is considered as mode in the data. Now there is a two examples given to you. If you observe in the example one, the observations are between 0 to 14 is there, out of which 1 is repeated for 1 time, 2 is repeated for 0 times, 3 is repeated for 1 time, 5 is repeated for 2 times, and 7 is repeated for 1 time, 9 is repeated for 3 times, and 10 is repeated for 1 time, 12 is 2 times, 13 is 1 time, and 14 is 1 time. That means here, if you observe, the number 9 is repeated for higher number of times. That is, the number 9 is repeated for 3 times in the given set of observation. Number 9 is only repeated for more number of times, because of which we say that we can consider here the mode is equals to 9. Okay, so in this case, mode is equals to 9. Why? Because 9 is repeated for more number of times. Therefore, mode is equals to 9. Now, if you observe the example 2, all the observations are repeated for 1 times. That means I cannot consider all the number as mode. Given set of observations are from 0 to 6. Each number are repeated for 1 number of time. Therefore, I can't consider all the number as mode. Therefore, in that case, we should consider as no mode. That is 0 mode in the nature. Now, in the example 1, which we have discussed, how many modes are there? How many modes are there? 1 mode is there. So what is that mode value? That mode value is nothing but 9 in the nature. So as in the given set of observation, there is only one mode. The distribution is said to be as unimodal distribution. So the distribution is said to be as unimodal distribution. A distribution which is having a distribution with two modes can be considered as bimodal distribution. If you observe here, a distribution where a single mode, a single score is repeated for n number of times, that circumstances that is considered as unimodal distribution. Similarly, here a distribution with a single score is most frequent, has one mode, then the distribution is said to be as unimodal distribution. Similarly, in the given set of observation, if we have more than one mode, in that circumstances that is equal to two modes in the nature, then we can consider as bimode in the nature. That is bimodal distribution. Suppose instead of two modes, if there is more than two modes, then we can consider it as the distribution as multimodal distribution. So the given distribution is said to be as multimodal distribution. Let me give an example here. You can observe here 10, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 12, 10, 13, 13, 12, 12, 11, 11. Now here if you observe, how many modes are existing. So if you observe here, it is a raw data in the nature. In the raw data, number 10 is repeated for 3 number of times. So the number 10 is repeated for 4 number of times. Similarly, number 11 is repeated for how many number of times? If you observe, number 11 is repeated for 2 times here, and again here 2 times. So number 11 is repeated for again 4 number of times, and number 12 is repeated for 5 times. 5, 3, 4 stay 4 times only. So number 11 is repeated for 4 times, and number 12 is repeated for 3, 4, 5. So 5 times is there. Okay. So in the given set of distribution, how many modes is existing? How many modes are there? There are only one mode is there in the given distribution. As there is only one mode, the distribution is said to be as, wow, we call the distribution as, what should we call the distribution as? It is considered as unimodal distribution. So the distribution is said to be as unimodal distribution. Suppose in the given case, the given question, instead of one more I'll add, if I add one more as 11, if I add one more term as 11, your distribution will be, how many modes are there now? There are, number 10 is repeated for 4 times, number 11 is repeated for 5 times, and number 12 is repeated for 5 times. That means here the given distribution has 2 modes. Therefore, this distribution is said to be as bimodal distribution because we have 2 modes in the nature. Suppose in the same question, if I add one more term, that one more term has 10 in the nature, then one more term is 10 in the nature, that means how many terms, how many modes are there? That means number 10 is repeated for 5 times, number 11 is repeated for 5 times, number 12 is repeated for 5 times. That means in the given set of observation, here 3 terms are repeated for same number of times. Therefore, the given frequency distribution can be called as multimodal distribution. Okay, so you should know how to categorize the frequency distribution in case of one mode, in case of 2 mode, in case of 3 modes or more than 2. Is it clear? Have you understood this point? Okay. Now there is an illustration given to you. There is an illustration given to you. The illustration is 20, 30, 31, 32, 25, 25, 30, 31, 30, 20, 32. So in the given set of observation, if you observe number 30 is repeated for n number of times, how many times number 30 is repeated for? How many times 30 is repeated for? Yes, number 30 is repeated for 3 times. Similarly, number 31 is repeated for 2 times. Okay, so which term is considered as, which term is repeated for more number of times? Yes, number 30 is repeated for more number of times. Therefore, we consider mode as number 30. Sure, Deepti, you can relog in. So number 30 is considered as mode. Okay. 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 So this is in case of raw data. Now let me give another data, that is a discrete data in the nature, and do please calculate the mode. So here the 2 observations are, the 2 data is nothing but X and F. So the frequencies are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and the respective frequencies are Let me consider the respective frequencies here is, first one is 20 and the next frequency is 25 and the next frequency is 22 and the next frequency is 28 and the last frequency is 21. Now, which is the mode? Which term should be considered as mode? If you observe here, frequency means number of times which the number is repeated for. So here, the first question, 10 has 20 frequency. That means number 10 is repeated for 20 times. Similar way, 20 is repeated for 25 times. That means which number is repeated for more number of times? Number 40 is repeated for more number of times. That is, number 40 is repeated for 28 times. Therefore, this number 40 has highest frequency. Henceforth, we should consider mode as 40 in this case. That means to calculate mode in case of raw data or in case of discrete data, we do not use any formulas. Just what we do, we check which number is repeated for more number of times. That number is considered as mode in the nature. So this is how we calculate mode in case of raw data and discrete data. There is no formulas, just directly we can calculate. So this is how you calculate in case of raw data and discrete data. Now let us take one example of continuous data. Under continuous data, how to calculate mode? That is nothing but 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, then 20 to 30, then 30 to 40, then 40 to 50, last one 50 to 60. And the respective frequencies are 12, 14, 17, 18, 13, 11. So these are the frequencies and the class interval is given. Now how to calculate mode here? First point what you should do here is, now out of the given frequency, which is the highest frequency? If you observe, there are frequencies like 12, 14, 17, 18, 9, 18, 13, 11. So which is the highest frequency? The highest frequency here is 18. So highest frequency oriented data should be considered as modal class. In median, we use something called median class. Similar way here, we should consider as modal class in the nature. So the highest frequency, whichever class interval has, that entire class interval is said to be as modal class in the nature. Now, after considering the modal class, first point what you should do is lower limit. What is the lower limit of the class? Can you tell the lower limit of this class interval? So the lower limit here is 30. Yes, the modal class is 30 to 40. That means the lower limit is 30. Yes. Then the width of the class. What is the width of the class? The width of the class is 10. I is equals to 10. Lower limit is 30. I equals to 10. Now, three important things which you should write: F, F1 and F2. F1 and F2. So the frequency of modal class is considered as F, and the prior number is considered as F1, and the succeeding number is considered as F2. So this is your F1 and this is your F2. Now F is nothing but the frequency of modal class is 18, and F1 is considered as 17. There's some people use F0, all the stuff. You can do in that way also, that is fine, but all the formulas are similar only. Okay, just canonical representation is a bit different. So F2 is 13. Now you know all the details. 5 elements are required. We have all the 5 elements. So how to calculate mode? Mode is equals to L plus, similar way, F minus F1 in the bracket divided by 2F minus F1 minus F2. So this entire thing to be multiplied by I. So the entire thing to be multiplied by the width of the class interval. That means here lower limit here is L is equals to 30 and plus F minus F1. So F minus F1 means 18 minus 17. So 18 minus 17 is 1 divided by 2F. So this part, let me write 2F. So 2 into 18. How much is 2 into 18? 2 18s are 2F. So 2 into 18 is 36 minus F1. F1 is 17 and F2 is 13. The entire thing to be multiplied by the width of the class. So the width of the class here is 10. So multiply that with the 10. So by doing this, you'll be getting the mode value that is equals to 13 plus 13 to be added at the last. First, let me simplify the problem. 1 divided by, so 1 divided by 36 minus 17 minus 13. How much you get? 6. So 1 divided by 6 multiplied by 10. What is the value you get? So 30 plus 1 into 10 is 10. 10 divided by 6 is 1.67. So 1.67 should be considered here. So 30 plus 1.67, that is equal to 31.67 is the mode value. Therefore, here mode is equals to 31.67. So this is how we calculate mode in case of continuous data. First step, identify which frequency is repeated for more number of times. That class should be considered as modal class. And the second step is write the 5 elements which is required to you. That is L, I, F, F1 and F2. L is nothing but the lower limit of the modal class, that is equals to 30. I is the width of the class, width is 10, and F is the frequency of the modular class. F1 is prior number, F2 is succeeding number. So when you have all the details, apply that in the formula, you'll be getting the value of mode. Is it clear? Okay. Okay. Now there is a data given to you. Can you calculate mode? 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. Number of students is 10, 20, 30, 50, 40, 30. Can you calculate mode? It is a continuous data. So which is the highest frequency? Yes, 50 is the highest frequency. Corresponding to that, whatever the class is there, that is considered as modal class. So calculate the mode and tell me the number. 5 elements, what is required to you is L and I, and the next element is F and F1 and F1, then F2. So these are the 5 elements required to you. The lower limit is, so the modal class is 50. So that is frequency, lower limit is 30 and the width of the class is 10 and the frequency of the modal class is 50 and F1 is nothing but the prior is 30 and F2 is succeeding is 40. So these are the 5 details which you require. Calculate mode and tell me the solution. One answer is 36.67. Srivat's answer is 20. 36.67. Yes, people are answering is 36.67. Srivatsa modal class is 30 to 40. That means mode will lie between 30 to 40. So your answer is wrong. Yes, 36.67 is absolutely right. Many people are answering 36.67. So let us check whether our answer is right or not. Yes. Answer is 36.67 is absolutely right, because 30 to 40, there is a line drawn. Can you see the graph? Can you tell what graph is it? What graph is it? Any idea? Okay. So to calculate median, we use one graph called Ogif's graph. Similar way, to calculate mode, we use one graph called histogram. HIS, his, TROGRAMS, histograms. So this graph is used to calculate mode. If you observe in the bar graph, we draw a rectangular bar. In mid, there will be a spaces. But here it is similar to bar graph, but in middle there is no space. So if you observe here, the width of the class, the whatever the class limits is there, how to plot this, you should be knowing given this. So 0 to 10, 10 frequency is there. So what I have done here is 0 to 10, 10 frequency is there. Therefore, 0 to 10, 10 frequencies there. I have drawn 10. Then from 10 to 20, 20 frequencies there. Without gap, you need to draw another rectangular bar. And from 20 to 30, 30 frequencies there. Draw again rectangular bar. From 30 to 40, 50 frequencies are there. So draw a rectangular bar. Similar way from 40 to 50, 40 frequencies there. Again continue here. And similar way from 50 to 60, we have again 20. So I have drawn 20. And the next one, that is from the next is 10 to 70, some frequencies I have drawn a bar graph. Okay. Now once the rectangular bars are drawn, which is the highest bar? If you observe, the highest bar is, can you tell which is the highest bar? The highest bar is nothing but the middle one, which is of 50. So from here, draw a cross line. From here, draw a cross line which is touching this part. That is like X ತರ ಬರಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ. From this cross line to this cross line, and from this cross line to this X. You should draw the cross line in such a way that it should move this end and this end should be touched. Similar way, this end should be touched with this end. So when you touch this, both are meeting at one point. So both are meeting at one point. From there, if you draw a straight line, which is, so if from there, if you draw a vertical line which is touching the x-axis, that will give you the value of mode. So this Z is denoted as mode. This value can be ascertained. So the graph which is used to calculate mode, if they ask, you should be knowing something called histogram. And one more thing which you should know here is arithmetic mean cannot be computed using graph. So which measure of central tendency cannot be ascertained or cannot be computed by drawing a graph? That is nothing but arithmetic mean. Median and mode can be computed graphically, but arithmetic mean or geometric mean or harmonic mean cannot be computed graphically. So this one point which you should know. Is it clear? Have you all understood this point? Okay. Now the next important discussion here is, now observe here, symmetric distribution and a skewed distribution. So what do you mean by skewed distribution and what do you mean by symmetric distribution? So a given distribution where all the observations are equal. Let me consider the observations as 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So how many observations are there? 6 observations are there. So if all observations are equal, what will be the mean? How to calculate mean? It is a raw data. In raw data, how to calculate mean? Add all the numbers divided by number of numbers. That is, add all the numbers, that is equal to, how much is that? 60 divided by number of observation, that is 6. So 60 divided by 6, what is the mean value you get? Mean value is equal to 60. Sorry, mean value is equals to 10. Now similar way, let me calculate median. It is a raw data in the nature. If it is raw data, first let me arrange it into ascending order. After arranging into ascending order, check the middle number. N value is even. As n value is even, arithmetic mean between the middle two numbers. So arithmetic mean between the middle two numbers means the middle two numbers are 10 and 10. So 10 plus 10 divided by 2, that is equals to 20 divided by 2 is nothing but what? 20 divided by 2 is nothing but 10 only. So median is 10. And mode, which number is repeated for more number of times? Number 10 is repeated for more number of times. That means mode is equals to 10. In case of symmetrical distribution, mean equals to median equals to mode. In case of symmetrical distribution, mean is always equal to median, that is always equal to mode. Symmetric distribution, in other words, to tell if there is having equal variation, if it is there means also we can consider that all will be mean, median and mode will be same in the nature. Therefore, here you should understand one important point, that is nothing but when your mean, median, mode will be same. In case if the given distribution is symmetrical in the nature, that is all the observations are equal, that means we can consider that mean equals to median equals to mode. But the question is not with respect of symmetric distribution. This question is like moderately skewed distribution, or we can consider as asymmetrical distribution. In case of asymmetrical distribution, how to calculate mean, median and mode, and what is the relationship which I can give between mean, median and mode? The relationship which is given to mean, median, mode can be considered as empirical relationship. Whenever there is an asymmetrical data or a moderately skewed distribution, in that circumstances, the empirical relationship between mean, median, mode, why is it given? Because sometimes they'll be giving you median and they'll be giving you mode, and they will ask you to calculate mean without giving the question. See, there should be an illustration. If illustration is there, I can calculate mean, median, mode. Without the illustration, if they say mean equals to 10, median is equals to 10, and it is a symmetrical distribution, that means what you will tell, you will directly tell mode is also equal to 10. Why? Because in a symmetrical distribution, all three should be same. But in case of asymmetrical distribution, that is a moderately skewed distribution, if median and mode is given, how to calculate mean, or if mean and mode is given, how to calculate median. That can be understood by giving an empirical relationship between all the three. Simple way to understand how the empirical relationship is given. What did we learn last? We learned last is mode. So that write first. We learned mode in the last, so write that first. Before that, what did we learn? Before mode, what did we learn? Before mode, we learned median. Yes, before mode, we learned median. So write that. And after, before median, what did we learn? Before median, we learned mean. So write that. So mode equals to median and mean. So in between, which has more weightage in exam? Which has more weightage in exam? Median has more weightage in the exam. Therefore, three numbers are there. So put 3 marks to that. 3 observations are there. That is like mode, median, and mean. So 3 numbers are there. So put 3 marks to that. Similar way, which is next prior important? So next important is mean. So give that 2 marks. And which is very less important and very easy to solve the problem, mode, give 1 marks to that. Therefore, here mode can be calculated as 3 median minus 2 mean. So by using this relation, either you give median or you give mode or you give mean and median. If any of the two items is known, we can calculate the third one. So this means I have given in the simple terms. This has been derived by using one relationship. The relationship is as follows. Okay, you will see the relationship. Minute. Yes. So Carl Pearson, the person who had given this relationship, is a statistician called Carl Pearson has given this relationship. That relationship is equals to mean minus mode equal to mean minus median by 3, or it can be written as mean minus median equal to 3 mean minus mode. That is, this is the point which you should remember. They will ask in the exam, and more important point, this derivation you should be knowing. Mean minus median equal to 3 of mean minus mode. In both the place, mean is there. Subtract this with median, subtract this with mode, and this factor will be multiplied by 3. You should remember this one point, and the next one is nothing but, you should remember this one, and the last point which we discussed, that is mode equal to 3 median minus 2 mean. So these two are only important factor which you should remember. So this is how the empirical relationship has been given between mean, median, and mode. If any of the one number is missing, we can calculate it. There is one illustration given to you. It is a moderately skewed distribution. That means there is slight variations in the marks of the 20 students. The mean and the median marks were found as 55.5 and 52.40. So they have given you the mean and median. So they have given mean and they have also given you the median. So mean equals to 55.6 and median equals to 52.4. We have discussed the empirical relationship. It is a non-symmetric distribution. Therefore, the empirical relationship we have to apply. What is that empirical relationship? Mode equals to the empirical relationship is mode equals to 3 median minus 2 mean. So 2 mean x bar, I will denote it as x bar. Therefore, here mean and median is given. I can calculate mode that circumstances. How to calculate mode? That is 3 multiplied by median is 52.4 minus 52.4 minus 2 mean, that is 2 multiplied by 52.4. So by calculating this, you will get the solution. The solution is, what is the solution you get? Yes, you will get 104. Final number you do, please tell me the final number. That is 104.8 minus 62. Final number is 62. Okay, so that is equals to 62 is the answer. So tell me this part, 2 into 52.4, that is nothing but 100 and okay. So thank you for watching my channel. So do subscribe to get updated whenever the class is conducted. So do get subscribed and watch and keep supporting always. Thank you all.